Thank you for tuning into our channel. Please hit that like button if you like anime. Please subscribe and share with others so we can continue to grow and entertain you better. Now back to the show.
Chapter 14, Goku vs. Armin, the Colosseum Clash. The roar of the Colosseum crowd was deafening as Goku stepped onto the massive arena stage, his orange chi bright under the shimmering lights. Behind him, Vegeta followed, his sharp eyes scanning the massive crowd. Thousands of spectators cheered and jeered, the sound an overwhelming tide of energy. Vegeta, what the hell, Kakarot? This crowd is huge. I can't wait to see who's on the menu for you. Goku chuckled, brushing his hand across his headband. Goku, it's always fun when there's a big crowd. Makes the fights even better. As Goku took his place at the center of the arena, the announcer's voice boomed across the Colosseum, amplified by hidden speakers. Announcer, ladies and gentlemen. In this corner, the warrior who's been climbing the ranks of this tournament, straight from Universe 7, give it up for Son Goku. The crowd erupted in cheers and boos, their energy frenetic. Announcer, and his challenger, a man feared across the district of Playmo, leader of the Kraken gang, the brute who brought terror to the Saiyan population, let's hear it for Armin. The arena floor shook as Armin entered, his massive frame casting a long shadow under the bright lights. His muscles bulged with barely contained power, and his piercing yellow eyes locked onto Goku with unrestrained hatred. The crowd roared louder, their cheers tinged with a mix of fear and reverence. Vegeta, He's big, but he's hiding his power level. Be careful, Kakarot. Remember, we're not here to play. We're here to judge in Zeno's name. These killers won't hold back, so you can't either. And don't forget. Vegeta's voice lowered, his tone serious. Vegeta, we need to win over the crowd as much as the fight. True victory means swaying them to our side. Goku nodded, his usual cheerful expression giving way to focus. Goku, got it, Vegeta. Let's do this. He turned back to face Armin, who stood at the center of the arena, his towering frame emanating malice. Goku smiled, his stance light and loose. Goku, hey there. You ready? Armin sneered, his voice a low growl. Armin, you're nothing but prey to me. I'm going to enjoy tearing you apart. Goku's smile faded slightly as he felt the intense, chaotic energy radiating from Armin. Goku, thinking whoa. His power feels strange, unstable. I better stay on my toes. The battle begins. The moment the announcer signaled the start of the fight, Armin charged forward with incredible speed. In a flash, he was in Goku's face, his massive hand slashing downward with razor-sharp claws. Goku, whoa, you're fast. Goku barely managed to dodge, the claws grazing his cheek and drawing a thin line of blood. Armin's feral grin widened as he unleashed a flurry of brutal techniques. His claws raked through the air, forcing Goku to block and evade constantly. Vegeta, shouting Kakarot. Don't let him overwhelm you. But Armin's speed and unorthodox style were unlike anything Goku had faced before. He moved like a wild beast, his attacks relentless and unpredictable. A sudden knee to Goku's stomach sent him flying back, and before he could recover, Armin was already there, slamming his fists into Goku's chest like a sledgehammer. The ground cracked beneath Goku as he skidded across the arena floor, coughing from the impact. Goku, damn. I've never seen techniques like these before. The cheating unfolds. Armin raised his arms, his body glowing with dark energy. Armin, you're nothing, Saiyan. I'll show this crowd who the true champion is. With a guttural roar, he slammed his fists into the ground, sending shockwaves rippling through the arena. Spikes of jagged energy erupted from the ground, forcing Goku to leap into the air. Vegeta, Kakarot. Watch his left. Just as Vegeta yelled, Armin used the moment to cheat. From his left arm, hidden energy blades extended, slicing upward toward Goku's exposed side. The blades cut deeply into Goku's arm, drawing blood. The crowd gasped, some cheering for the brutality while others watched in horror. Vegeta, thinking, damn him. This brute doesn't care about honor, he'll do anything to win. Goku powers up. As Goku staggered back, clutching his arm, he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His energy began to shift, his aura glowing brighter and brighter until it flared into a fiery red. His hair turned crimson, and the ground beneath him trembled with the force of his transformation. Goku, alright, big guy. Let's see how you handle this. The crowd erupted in shock as Super Saiyan God Goku stood before them, his red hair glowing like fire. Even Armin hesitated for a moment, his eyes narrowing. Armin, this means nothing. You're mine to devour now. The climax. Armin charged again, his claws glowing with dark energy, but this time, Goku was ready. He moved with unparalleled speed, dodging each strike effortlessly. Goku countered with a powerful punch to Armin's ribs, followed by a spinning kick that sent the massive warrior crashing into the ground. Armin roared, his energy flaring wildly as he launched a devastating energy blast at Goku. Goku responded in kind, firing a Kamehameha that cut through Armin's attack and slammed into him, engulfing him in a brilliant explosion. As the dust settled, Goku stood tall, his aura crackling with residual energy. Armin lay defeated, his body battered and broken. Goku, you're tough, but you rely too much on anger and tricks. That's why you lost. The crowd fell silent for a moment before erupting into cheers. Even those who had jeered Goku before were now chanting his name. Vegeta smirked from the sidelines, crossing his arms. Vegeta, show them, Kakarot. Let them see what a true Saiyan can do. Goku turned, smiling at Vegeta as the announcer declared his victory. The battle was over, but the war for justice in this universe had only just begun. Chapter 14 continued, Judgment and the Hakai. The cheers of the crowd were deafening as Goku powered down from his Super Saiyan God form. His crimson aura faded, and he wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead, turning to acknowledge the roaring crowd with a sheepish grin. Goku, well, that was a tough one. Guess I should have taken Vegeta's warning more seriously. From the other side of the arena, Vegeta watched with his arms crossed, his sharp gaze scanning the battlefield. Something felt off. Armin, battered and beaten, lay motionless on the ground. Yet the faint flicker of energy in his body suggested he wasn't finished. Vegeta's instincts flared. Vegeta, Kakarot, behind you. Time seemed to slow as Armin, seething with humiliation, surged to his feet. His claws extended unnaturally, dark energy crackling along their edges as he lunged at Goku's unguarded back. Armin, you think you've won? I'll devour you, Saiyan. The crowd gasped, their cheers turning to horrified murmurs as they watched the massive brute hurtle toward Goku with murder in his eyes. Goku began to turn, his instincts kicking in, but before he could fully react, a blur of motion appeared between him and Armin. Vegeta had moved with instant transmission, materializing directly in front of Armin with his palm outstretched. Armin's claws slammed into Vegeta's hand with all the force of his rage, but it was like striking a brick wall. Vegeta didn't budge an inch. The crowd collectively sucked in their breath, their eyes wide with disbelief. Armin, what? Vegeta's eyes burned with fiery intensity, his aura flaring around him in shades of blue and violet. Vegeta, I judge you. His voice was cold, commanding, and carried a weight that silenced the entire Colosseum. Armin, now trembling, clawed desperately at Vegeta, but before he could even raise his arms fully, Vegeta's voice thundered across the arena. Vegeta! A swirling, purple-black void of destruction erupted from Vegeta's palm. The force of the Hakai was immediate and absolute, engulfing Armin in a fiery vortex of annihilation. his body exploded into fragments, each piece consumed by the black hole's relentless pull. Within seconds, nothing remained of Armin, no ashes, no energy, no trace of his existence. The arena fell into a stunned silence, the only sound the faint hum of the Hawkeye dissipating into the air. The crowd sat frozen, their eyes locked on Vegeta, whose hand still glowed faintly with destructive energy. For a few seconds, time seemed to stand still as the enormity of what had just happened sank in. Then, a single voice broke the silence. "Young Saiyan child, yeah." The cry echoed through the arena, and slowly, others began to cheer. The energy swelled, growing louder and louder until the entire Coliseum erupted into a deafening roar of approval. Crowd, Vegeta. 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 Goku, still standing a few feet behind Vegeta, rubbed the back of his head, his grin widening. Goku, wow, Vegeta. You really went all out. That was something else. Vegeta turned to face Goku, his expression as sharp and commanding as ever. Vegeta, I warned you, Kakarot. These aren't games. These killers won't hesitate to strike when you let your guard down. Remember that. Goku nodded, his smile fading into a more serious expression. Goku, got it, Vegeta. I'll keep my guard up from now on. As the crowd continued to cheer, Vegeta stood tall, his presence radiating authority. Saiyans in the audience looked on in awe, their pride rekindled by the display of power and justice from their prince. Vegeta, Kakarot, let's leave. We have more important things to deal with than entertaining these fools. But before they could move, Carvas appeared in the royal box above the arena, his voice booming across the Coliseum. Carvas, behold! The Prince of Saiyans has shown us what true justice looks like. Let this be a reminder to all who oppose us, our time is coming. The crowd roared louder, chanting Vegeta's name as Goku and Vegeta exchanged a glance. Goku, grinning, looks like you're becoming a bit of a celebrity, Vegeta. Vegeta, smirking. About time they recognized greatness. As the cheers continued to echo through the Coliseum, both warriors walked away, their thoughts already on the next battle. The tournament was far from over, and the true threat, the Angels, still loomed on the horizon. But for now, Vegeta had reminded everyone in the arena why he was the Prince of all Saiyans, and why no one would stand in their way. Chapter 14 continued, Eyes in the Shadows. High above the Coliseum, hidden within the veiled recesses of a private chamber, Dominic, Saiyan, and Tila, three of the corrupt angels of Universe 13, stood silently alongside their destroyer, Raggle. The chamber was shielded from the crowd, giving the onlookers an unobstructed view of the arena below. Raggle, a towering, leopard-like being with golden fur streaked by black stripes, leaned forward, his muscular frame radiating menace. His piercing amber eyes locked onto Vegeta, who stood in the center of the arena, exuding authority and raw power after obliterating Armin. Suddenly, Vegeta's display of power made the air in the chamber thick with tension. Raggle, what the hell was that? The destroyer's growl echoed through the chamber as his tail lashed behind him. His claws flexed instinctively, and his sharp fangs bared in agitation. Raggle, who is that Saiyan? Dominic, usually calm and composed, blinked in disbelief, his face betraying his shock. He had sensed the surge of power but had not anticipated anything like what he had just witnessed. Tila, the slender angel with icy blue skin, turned her calculating gaze toward Dominic, her voice sharp. Tila, you didn't tell us there was a Saiyan prince in this tournament. Dominic's silver eyes flickered as he processed the scene, trying to mask his surprise. Dominic, I didn't know. Saiyan, whose glowing eyes shimmered faintly, crossed his arms and tilted his head, his tone biting. Saiyan, didn't know? You've spent centuries keeping tabs on the Saiyans in this universe, Dominic. How could you not know about him? Dominic clenched his fists, his voice tense. Dominic, I've kept track of the Saiyan populations here, those enslaved, those scattered. But none of them were like this. Raggle let out a low growl, his body tense as his gaze never wavered from Vegeta. Raggle, he isn't like the others. His power, it's different. Refined. Focused. And I felt something else in him. Judgment. Teela raised an eyebrow, her voice laced with intrigue. Teela, judgment? That's impossible. Only a destroyer can wield judgment as pure as that. Dominic's hands trembled slightly as he turned to face them. Dominic, that's not just any Saiyan. That's Prince Vegeta. And we have a problem. The room fell into an uneasy silence, each angel exchanging glances. Raggle's tail lashed harder, the air crackling faintly around him. Raggle, then I'll deal with him. Saiyan placed a hand on Raggle's shoulder, stopping him. Saiyan, no. We don't know his full capabilities yet. If we act rashly, we risk exposing our plans to the higher councils. Teela nodded, her gaze drifting back to Vegeta. Teela, and what of the other one? The one they call Goku? His power, while different, is also significant. Together, they could be troublesome. Dominic turned back to the viewing window, watching as Vegeta and Goku exited the arena to thunderous applause. His mind raced with strategies, but his usual confidence felt shaken. Dominic, we'll need to adjust our plans. Amp up the matches. Release the experiments. Whatever it takes to break them down before they gain more support. Raggle's claws dug into the stone railing as he leaned closer, his voice a menacing growl. Raggle, you can strategize all you want. But I'll crush that Saiyan prince myself when the time comes. He'll know what true judgment feels like. Dominic's silver eyes flickered with an uncharacteristic uncertainty. He had always considered himself in control, always several steps ahead. But now, for the first time, he felt the weight of the unknown pressing against him. Dominic, let's hope it doesn't come to that. The angels fell silent, their attention locked on the two warriors who had unknowingly disrupted their plans. For now, their facade of control remained intact, but the seeds of fear had been sown. Dominic, thinking, who are you really, Prince Vegeta? And how much do you already know? The scene faded with Raggle's low growl echoing through the chamber, a sinister promise of the battles yet to come.
Thanks for watching DBZ Multiverse 16. Please share and subscribe for more future episodes.